The UFC is currently in a total state of panic as their billion-dollar fight night sits on the edge of complete disaster. I am starting at the finish line because you have to understand the level of stress behind the scenes before we look back. This whole mess started with a single grainy picture of a dark spot on Justin Gaethje's neck, a tiny detail that has thrown the entire 155-pound division into a tailspin and revealed problems the company has tried to hide for months.
Rumors have been swirling that Justin Gaethje is injured. A few videos have surfaced of him diving and cracking heads with someone, which wobbled him bad. Do you have any inside information? Have you not heard?
If you want to stay updated on the latest fight news, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Moving on, just 24 hours ago, this event looked perfect. It was supposed to be the grand kickoff for a massive new TV deal, but now the whole plan is shaking. Fans saw that mark on Justin Gaethje and realized everything could fall apart. Nobody wants to believe that the biggest star on the card might not even make it to the cage.
Hair is what he's claiming.
Okay. Right.
Ingrown hair and a bit of brisket. Yeah.
Brisket?
Yeah, a little brisket on the chin.
Because they said he had herpes on his mouth. He's like, I was eating brisket and I had an ingrown hair.
If that is an ingrown hair, that's the gnarliest ingrown hair I've ever seen. That makes like a little red dot on your neck if it's an ingrown hair. He had a crater in his neck. I don't know.
The reaction was immediate. Social media stopped in its tracks as people began to worry. In the world of fighting, a staph infection is a nightmare. It ruins big events, forces people to cancel travel, and tears up legal deals. The UFC knows this very well, which is why their refusal to talk about it feels much scarier than a simple yes or no. By the way, if you're enjoying this breakdown, hit that subscribe button to help us out.
You know where I'm going with this?
I do know
exactly where you're going.
Enter Armin.
Yes.
Enter Armin.
Yes, it's time. Now, is Armin ready is the thing.
Nobody walks out to
those videos.
No, but
I'm like,
Enter
Armin.
Enter Armin. Walking out there eating a turkey leg. I mean, come on.
185-pound catch rate.
What a
Honestly,
moment, though. Wouldn't that kind of be the best thing for the UFC?
And then an eating contest.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Him and Paddy, yes.
I'm legitimately, though, I don't think Armin Tsarukyan could make weight on this short of a time frame.
When Justin Gaethje finally spoke up, he tried to act like it was no big deal. He told everyone it was just a bad ingrown hair that was healing up fine. Ordinarily, that would be the end of the story, but when there's so much money on the line, people don't just take your word for it. Fans started wondering why this photo came out now, who took it, and what the UFC is actually keeping secret. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives like this.
I think Ilya and Armin are the two best guys in the world. I think they need a fight at some point because I think Paddy Pimblett is awesome. Justin Gaethje is awesome. Armin and Ilya seem to have something, and not only something in terms of skill, but between the two that we could build a great fight around, right? So, yeah, I think Armin's fantastic, though, man. He's good. He looked great against Dan Hooker, too.
In your opinion, why UFC is not giving Arman a title fight?
I don't know. I don't know why Armin's not fighting for a title. I really don't. I've heard the reason because of what happened in Los Angeles. I thought that by weighing in as the backup fighter when Ilya fought Charles, and then by going and fighting Charles Oliveira or Dan Hooker, it would be okay. I don't know. I don't know what the conversations that they're having behind closed doors are, because they're telling him something that's making him okay with it, right? Because if he wasn't okay with it, he would be more loud about him not getting his opportunity. Yeah. So I kind of defer to, they know more than we do. And so we got to kind of accept it for what it is because it seems like Armin is doing that too.
Let's be honest with each other. This fight was already on thin ice. We all know it, even if some people want to play pretend. This interim title fight feels more like a marketing trick than a real championship battle based on who deserves it most. There was already a lot of built-up frustration, and it only took one small spark to make it explode.
Agreement by all, we're good. I believe that. Some people say, then Chael, why isn't he fighting for the belt? Well, I'll tell you why. He got put in what was known as a #1 contenders match in November. But that was supposed to draw into Ilya, who then says he's not going to be present and they decide they're going to contest the title in January. So that would be a turnaround for Sarukian from November to January. And it's just very quick. I think that Sarukian's next fight is going to be for the title. That may end up being interim. That may, right? I mean, it's one of these. It's one of these things. It's one of these things that's got some moving parts. We don't all know yet what an interim belt is. We don't know. We largely agree as a community that at a minimum, an interim belt makes you the number one contender for the undisputed belt. But when we saw that Aspinall had to wait as the interim champion, we found out that that wasn't completely right. So, but hear me out, because we would think that Paddy Gaethje, if Ilya returns, we then got to go do that match. That could delay the championship opportunity of Sarukian, but that's not because of a penance. You see the difference? Like we would have to do that. That wouldn't be a penance to Arman. We would have to give the interim champion the undisputed champion.
That spark has a name, Arman Sarukian. Even though he isn't on the poster, he is on everyone's mind. Every time the UFC tries to promote Paddy Pimblett, it feels like they're purposely going around Arman instead of letting him fight for the top spot. Fans can see that the top-ranked guy is being ignored, and it's starting to make people uneasy.
We all know that Arman Sarukian is the rightful number one contender. The UFC decided to go the route of Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. Tell me this, how does Justin Gaethje go from getting knocked out by a featherweight to beating a number 12 ranked Rafael Fiziev to now getting an interim title shot? Paddy Pimblett kind of made sense just because of the amount of hype he has. But then Justin Gaethje, yes, he's a big name, but he's been doing absolutely nothing but threatening to retire if he doesn't get a title shot. They obviously didn't want Justin Gaethje to retire, and they obviously didn't want to feed Paddy Pimblett to Arman Sarukian. And then they also didn't want to give Arman Sarukian the next title shot. So an interim title between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje makes the most sense for them, apparently. If you had told me after that Jared Gordon fight that Paddy Pimblett would be 3 fights away from getting a title shot, bro, I would have crashed out. Look at Paddy Pimblett's last few wins. Bobby Green, who was on a 1-fight win streak. And then he beat Tony Ferguson, who was on like a 20-fight losing streak. And then he beat Michael Chandler, who... Come on.
Arman is essentially stuck on the sidelines while the UFC tries to turn a popular name into a champion. It's hard not to notice how shaky this whole plan looks when the main star might be sick. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel to join our community. This kind of management has real consequences. When fighters see that winning matches isn't as important as getting attention, they get angry. It stops being a fair competition where you climb a ladder and starts feeling like a random lottery. That creates a lot of bad blood behind the scenes.
8 years ago, what's like the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that fight with Justin?
That I'm glad it's over and I never want to do it again. I'm like, the fans don't ever ask for a rematch or anything like that, because that would have never. I'm like, I'm glad. He's unique, man, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch. So like, but if you want to beat Justin Gaethje, you have to. So he's a forward fighter and a pressure fighter that he will stand in the pocket. And he's gonna throw everything he got in that pocket. If you don't meet him, you'll get chewed up. So Paddy, the way to beat a guy who like does this, very violent, aggressive pressure fighter, you have to meet him. You have to throw when he throws. So you got to be brave, and you have to go when he goes in between his shots. If you do that, you got a fair shot. If you don't do that, if you're not brave and courageous and throw when he throws in between his shots, it's going to be a really long night. It's going to be a hard night.
Paddy Pimblett is out there smiling and saying the right things, but he knows he is lucky to be here. He is aware that if Justin Gaethje has to pull out, the entire conversation changes instantly, and a new challenger will have to step in.
Like, they're just basically saying Paddy's more popular, you're getting it over Arman.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? And that's, I mean, God, I hate like how I kind of get into this too much, but I mean, that's really like, that's the definition of, you know, a monopoly, where a single promoter owns the title and the rankings. And that's not, it's not a good thing for the sport, in my opinion. And I have to question what it's going to do for the longevity of the sport. You know, I don't think in the short term it's really going to make a big difference, right? Like, you know, it's going to sell the next fight, right? It's going to sell the next pay-per-view. But trends tend to come and go, right? Fads tend to come and go. At some point, like, you know, to have staying power and lasting power, I think it requires, you know, a meritocracy-based system. It's going to require, you know, some, you know, if you want to bring in guys like Arman Sarukian or Mosar Evelev, not always mess up how I say his name. You want to bring in these Olympic wrestling level guys. I mean, they don't want to have to go out there and put on some ridiculous show to become a champion. They don't want to have to go on Instagram and start a podcast and make you know, whatever kind of skits on social media and this silly kind of stuff. Like, they just want to be a world champion because they want to be the best athlete. And that's what makes me wonder how the staying power is going to be, right? When you're dealing with guys that are, you know, legitimate athletes that want to be legitimate athletes, and they're getting passed up by guys that are entertaining.
If you want to see how this all unfolds, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next update.